Chosen one. You are not here by accident. Heaven scheduled this moment and placed this video in front of you as a divine appointment, a precise Kairos time. Anointed one, you are standing at the edge of a supernatural financial breakthrough, a divine wealth transfer that has been forming in the unseen while you were fighting battles no one knew about. The same God who lifts the humble and provides in the wilderness is now shifting resources, opportunities, and favor into your hands. As you listen, let your spirit awaken, let your faith rise, because tonight you will not just hear about change, you will become it. Chosen one. If you are still here, it is because heaven has put its hand on you. Out of all the noise, you could be listening to your spirit locked onto this word. That is not random. That is alignment. This is one of those nights that will not fade into the background. When you look back, you will say, something shifted in me there. I did not come out of that moment the same. Anointed one, you are standing at the edge of a supernatural upgrade. And I'm not talking about a small emotional boost or a motivational high that fades by tomorrow morning. I'm talking about a deep rewiring of your identity, your atmosphere, and even the way heaven's resources move toward you. For a long time it felt like you were stuck, like doors stayed shut, no matter how hard you knocked. But in the spirit, God has been building pressure behind those doors. Tonight is when the hinges start to crack. I need you to hear this with your spirit, not just your ears. You are not just improving, you are being repositioned. Heaven is shifting your rank. The way God speaks about you in the courts of heaven is not the way people have spoken about you in rooms where you were not present. They saw the version of you in process. God has always seen the version of you in completion, and tonight the two begin to merge. Chosen one. I know what it feels like to live below what God whispered to your spirit. I know what it is to cry in private because you can feel something in you that nobody around you seems to recognize or understand. I have walked through seasons where I felt hidden, overlooked, even mishandled, while God silently worked on the inside of me. There were nights I thought I was being forgotten, but now I see I was being formed. You are in that same holy tension right now. There is a moment in every destiny journey where heaven stops negotiating with your fears. It simply announces, now. This is that moment for you, not next year, not when everything is perfect, not when the people who doubted you finally approve. Tonight, a switch is being flipped in the spirit. You may still be in the same room wearing the same clothes, surrounded by the same people, but your status in the unseen realm is changing, and when that changes, everything else has to respond. Anointed. One, you have been carrying an anointing that did not match your environment. That is why you felt too much in some spaces and not enough in others. That is why some people felt strangely defensive around you even when you were quiet. You were never just a personality. You are a spiritual atmosphere. When you walk in, things expose themselves, motives surface, and hidden intentions start to show. You did not imagine that. That was your mantle working even when you did not understand it. Tonight, heaven is not only confirming who you are, heaven is promoting who you are. There is a transfer taking place out of survival mode and into dominion, out of scarcity thinking and into kingdom inheritance. Some of you are about to see that transfer in your finances, overdue provision, unexpected opportunities, favor in business, creative strategies that unlock income streams you never considered. Others will feel it first in your soul, a peace you cannot explain, a confidence that is not arrogance, but clarity, a boldness to say no where you used to beg to be included. And hear me, chosen one. This is not because you have been perfect. This is because you stayed. You did not give up in the storm that was designed to erase you. You kept walking with a broken heart. You kept praying when you felt nothing. You kept showing up when nobody clapped. Heaven saw every tear, every quiet act of obedience, every time you chose integrity when compromise looked easier. None of that was wasted. All of that became currency in the spirit. Tonight, that currency begins to be released back to you as interest. There is a pattern with those God chooses. Before he reveals them, he refines them. Before he promotes them, he purges them. Maybe you lost people you loved. Maybe doors slammed in your face. Maybe circles you once begged to be part of suddenly pushed you out. It hurt. It felt like rejection, but I need you to see it differently now. Heaven was editing your cast. God was protecting your future from voices that would not be able to handle your upgrade. Chosen one, do you notice how lately your spirit gets restless around certain conversations, certain environments, certain habits? That is because your old self is expiring. There are rooms that once fit you that now feel too small. Shows you used to binge now feel heavy. Jokes you used to laugh at now grieve you. That is not you becoming boring. That is you becoming chosen. When God is preparing to shift you, he starts by changing your appetite. I remember a night when everything in my life looked ordinary on the outside, but my spirit knew something had ended. I could not go back to the patterns that were slowly draining me. It did not make sense in my logic, but deep inside, I heard a clear sentence. If you stay where you are, you will survive. If you follow me, you will live. That was my line in the sand. You are standing at yours right now, anointed. One Heaven is asking you one simple question tonight. Will you agree with who God says you are, even before the evidence fully shows up? Because in the kingdom, faith is the signature that activates the contract. There is a reason Scripture says that God calls things that are not as though they already were. Heaven speaks to you from the finished version. Tonight, you are being invited to do the same. In a moment, we're going to step into what you will 100% become tonight, the first identity Heaven is unlocking in you. But before we go there, let your heart answer this quietly. Am I willing to let go of who I was so I can become who I truly am? Chosen one, since your spirit has said yes, Heaven is now responding. You may not hear thunder outside your window, but there is thunder over your name in the spirit. Agreements are being cancelled. New contracts are being written. Old labels are being peeled off of you, and a new identity is being stamped across your life. Set apart, upgraded, entrusted. Number one, you will become the life that Heaven begins to fund. Anointed. 1. There is a difference between a life you try to sustain in your own strength and a life Heaven chooses to underwrite. For years you tried to make things work with limited resources, closed doors, and people who only supported you when it was convenient for them. You stretched every coin, every ounce of energy, every connection you had just to keep your head above water. But this next dimension is not built on strain. It is built on supply. Heaven does not invest where there is no assignment. The fact that you are still here, still sensitive, still hungry for God after everything you have survived, is proof that there is an assignment attached to your name. You are not just trying to do better. You are being prepared to steward more. Financially, emotionally, spiritually, I have seen this in my own life. There was a time when every bill felt like a battle, and every new responsibility felt like a threat. I remember sitting with my head in my hands, saying, "God, if you called me, why does it feel like lack is chasing me?" And quietly, almost like a whisper, I sensed this response: "I am not punishing you. I am protecting you. I will not send the level of resources you are asking for until your character can carry what your hands are praying for." That sentence broke me and healed me at the same time. Chosen one, that is what God has been doing in you. While you thought heaven was ignoring you, heaven was stretching you. While you thought nothing was happening, roots were growing. The wilderness you survived was not proof of abandonment. It was proof of preparation. You were learning how to hear God without the noise of applause. You were learning how to be faithful when nobody was watching. You were learning how to choose integrity when shortcuts were right in front of you. Now, because you passed tests in hidden places, heaven is ready to trust you with visible favor. You are entering a season where provision will start to align with purpose. The ideas that would not leave your mind, the projects you wrote down and buried in your notes app, the business concepts, the creative blueprints, the ministries you saw in your spirit but never had the means to build, heaven is breathing on those now. Anointed one, some of you will experience this as sudden opportunities, a promotion you did not see coming, a client who finds you instead of you chasing them, a door that opens in a field where you felt underqualified. Others will sense it as strategy, a clear idea, a divine instruction, a do this now that will feel simple but unlock something major. Do not dismiss small instructions. In the kingdom, small keys open massive doors. And yes, for many of you, there will be a literal financial shift. Debts beginning to move, delays breaking, unexpected credits, refunds, approvals, and releases. Not because God is a vending machine, but because your life has become a safe place for His resources. This is not just about you having more. This is about you becoming a living distribution center of heaven's goodness. You will feed others, cover others, fund assignments, and sow into journeys you once could only pray for from the sidelines. Chosen one. Understand, this divine wealth is not measured only in numbers. It is measured in impact, peace, and alignment. What good is more money if it costs you your soul? Heaven is not just upgrading your bank account. Heaven is upgrading your standard. There are deals you will no longer take, relationships you will no longer tolerate, and environments you will no longer enter because they do not match what God is placing in your hands. You will notice this shift in your spirit first. Conversations that used to thrill you will start to feel empty. Opportunities that once looked big will suddenly feel too small for what God has shown you. You are not becoming ungrateful. You are becoming aligned. There is a verse that says, "The blessing of the Lord makes rich and adds no sorrow with it." That is the type of increase heaven is preparing you for, increase that does not drain you, confuse you, or pull you away from God, but draws you deeper into trust. I want you to think about this for a moment, Anointed One. What if the very places where you experienced the sharpest lack were actually prophetic hints of where God planned to use you most powerfully? Those years of financial struggle gave you compassion for those who are still there. Those seasons of not having enough taught you creativity, discipline, and discernment. Heaven wastes nothing. In this transfer, God is going to turn the area of your greatest former lack into the area of your greatest future impact. Chosen one, tonight, heaven is shifting you from barely getting by to being entrusted. And with that entrustment comes a question. Are you willing to see every blessing as a tool, not just a trophy? Because when you do, you step out of the mindset of a survivor and into the mindset of a steward. Survivors hoard, stewards channel. Survivors ask, how can I keep this? Stewards ask, Lord, how do you want to use this? We are only at the beginning of what you will become tonight. Heaven is not just funding your life. Heaven is reintroducing you to yourself. In the next dimension of this word, I am going to speak to the version of you who is no longer at war with your past, but standing as evidence that the war has already been won. Chosen one. Now that heaven has marked you as one whose life it will fund, there is another side to this upgrade that many do not talk about. When God raises you, He does not only increase your provision, He increases your clarity. And clarity is not always comfortable. When the veil lifts, you stop just feeling the battle and start seeing it. You realize some of what you called confusion was actually warfare, and some of what you called support was actually delay dressed as friendship. Number 2, you will become the fire that exposes, not the shadow that agrees. Anointed one. There was a time when you tried to make everyone comfortable with your presence. You laughed at jokes that wounded your own spirit. You stayed in rooms that kept you small, just to avoid being too much. You softened your insight so people would not say you were judgmental. You went along with things that did not sit right in your soul, just so you would not be labeled the difficult one. But this upgrade is burning that version of you away. Heaven is not raising you to be a decorative light. Heaven is raising you to be a refining fire. And here is what fire does: it reveals what is real and what is not. Gold survives the flame. Straw does not. In the same way, real love, real loyalty, and real alignment will stand in your new season. Counterfeit connections will not. I remember a season when I asked God for more discernment, thinking it would just help me make better decisions. I did not realize discernment would also reveal why I felt so exhausted after certain conversations, why my spirit felt heavy in certain spaces, and why my peace would suddenly vanish around certain people. As God answered that prayer, He did not give me a stronger opinion. He gave me a sharper awareness. I started to see patterns, how every time I shared a dream, certain people would respond with subtle doubt or hidden competition, or chosen one. Some of the people who clap for you in public are secretly threatened by the quiet power you carry in private. Heaven is not exposing this to make you bitter. Heaven is exposing this to make you wise. You cannot carry a supernatural promotion and still be careless about who touches your spirit, your ideas, and your next level. Fire does not apologize for being hot. And in this season, your presence will not apologize for revealing what was always there. That is why lately you may feel like you do not fit where you used to belong. Jokes that were once funny now feel off. Environments that were once comfortable now feel tight, like clothes you have outgrown. Conversations that used to entertain you now feel empty and out of sync with where God is taking you. This is not you changing for the worst. This is your spirit aligning with truth. You are becoming allergic to what does not match your assignment. Anointed one. When heaven upgrades you, your spirit starts rejecting what your old self tolerated. You will notice it in small, practical ways. The music you listen to, the content you consume, the way you spend your evenings, the people you vent to, even how you handle money. Fire does not only show up in church moments. Fire shows up in lifestyle decisions. There was a night I sat in silence and felt the Holy Spirit ask me, Do you want comfort or do you want transformation? I knew what that meant. Transformation meant saying no to things my flesh still enjoyed. Transformation meant stepping out of roles where I was loved for who I used to be, but not respected for who I was becoming. Transformation meant accepting that some people were only attached. Chosen one, let's go deeper. You have not just been living through random storms. You have been walking through a battlefield most people pretend doesn't exist. And tonight, heaven is not only upgrading you, it is giving language to what your spirit has been feeling for years. Number 3, you will become the proof that the battle was real and that you were never fighting alone. Anointed. 1. Think back over your life. The strange betrayals, the sudden losses, the friendships that flipped into warfare with no clear reason. The seasons where almost everything that could go wrong did go wrong at the exact same time. For the longest time, you blamed yourself. Maybe I made bad choices. Maybe I am cursed. Maybe I am not enough. But heaven is pulling back the curtain tonight. Those attacks were not proof of your weakness. They were proof of your assignment. Opposition does not gather around emptiness. It gathers around purpose. Battles do not break out in empty fields. They break out over territory that matters. I remember walking through a season where I kept saying, "Why does this feel like too much for one person?" Doors were slamming. People I trusted were switching up. Every time I thought I could breathe, another wave would hit. At one point I asked, God, is this all in my head? Am I overreacting? What I heard in my spirit changed everything. You are not overreacting. You are underestimating the size of what I put inside you. Chosen one. The warfare around you has always matched the weight of the glory upon you. The isolation, the misunderstanding, the spiritual heaviness, these were not random. They were strategic. Hell does not invest energy into someone who does not carry anything. You were targeted because you are trusted. Some of you were attacked early, even as children. Your confidence was attacked. Your voice was silenced. Your self-worth was wounded before it even had time to form. That wasn't just bad family, bad school, or bad circumstances. That was the enemy trying to disarm a general before they ever realized they were called to lead. But here is the prophetic shift. Tonight you will no longer interpret your past through the lens of shame. You will interpret it through the lens of strategy and sovereignty. What tried to break you has accidentally trained you. What was meant to bury you has built you. What felt like pure pain has quietly become spiritual technology inside of you. Anointed One Heaven is taking every battle, every breakdown, every long night of tears and converting it into evidence. Evidence that your calling is real. Evidence that the unseen war was real. Evidence that God kept you even when you didn't know how to keep yourself. You are stepping into a season where your story will not be a sad soundtrack. It will be a courtroom presentation. Your life will quietly testify, I went through all of that, and I am still here, still sane, still believing, still becoming. That alone is victory. And here is where the supernatural transfer comes in. The same places where you bled are the places God is going to build streams of blessing. The same areas where you were stripped are the places where abundance will now flow. Some of you lost jobs, homes, relationships, opportunities, and you thought it was just cruelty. Heaven says, no, I was clearing the ground so I could rebuild with my resources, not theirs. There were seasons where you thought, if this is warfare, where is God in it? You did not always feel him, but you never would have made it this far if you were fighting alone. You did not survive because you are strong. You survived because his hand refused to let you go. If you pay attention, you can see it in the details. How you almost lost your mind, but somehow held on. How you almost compromised, but something pulled you back. How you almost settled for less, but something in you said, "No, this is not my ending." That something was the Spirit of God guarding the blueprint of your destiny. Chosen. One tonight. Heaven is reframing your story. You are not the cursed one. You are the kept one. You are not the unlucky one. You are the guarded one. You are not the abandoned one. You are the anointed one, escorted through fire because there is a throne, a territory, a level of influence on the other side. And yes, there will come a time when the very people who said it wasn't that serious will see what you are walking in and realize they were wrong. Your stability will be their confirmation. Your peace will be their proof. Your elevation will be their wake-up call that the war was never imaginary and you were never ordinary. This is why you cannot afford to keep telling your story like you are a victim of chaos. You are the survivor of a highly organized attack that failed. You are the carrier of wisdom that was paid for in real tears. You are the evidence that no weapon formed against you prospered in the way it was supposed to. Chosen. One, breathe this in your scars, are not disqualifiers. They are credentials. Heaven is stamping your life with the seal of approved through battle. And from tonight forward, you will move differently, not as someone who wonders, why did this happen to me? But as someone who knows, I lived through that because what is on my life is bigger than the war. In the next part, we are going to step into an even deeper mystery, how your very presence after this upgrade becomes a signal from heaven that exposes lies, breaks systems, and announces that a new atmosphere has entered the room. Chosen one, let's step into that mystery. Number 4, you will become the signal that heaven has entered the room. Anointed one, there is a kind of person whose presence changes the air before they ever speak. That is what heaven is forming in you tonight. You are not just being healed, you are being tuned. Your spirit is being aligned with a frequency that exposes lies, breaks atmospheres, and makes it impossible for things to stay the way they were before you arrived. There were seasons where you walked into rooms and felt heavy, confused, out of place. You thought something was wrong with you. You told yourself, I'm too sensitive, I overthink, I take things too seriously. But in reality, your spirit was picking up on what others had learned to normalize. You were discerning what others had numbed themselves to feel. I remember sitting in meetings where everyone else seemed fine, laughing, networking, talking business. But I felt a quiet grief in my chest. Later, truth came out, hidden motives, dishonest deals, manipulations in the background. And I realized it wasn't that I was dramatic. It was that my spirit was hearing what the room refused to say. Chosen one, that is you. You have carried that sensitivity your whole life. You thought it was a weakness. Heaven calls it authority. Tonight, the Spirit of God is upgrading that sensitivity into a weapon and a witness. You are becoming a walking "let there be light" when you step into business rooms, family gatherings, friendships, relationships, even online spaces. The false comfort of darkness will begin to crack. Conversations will shift. Masks will feel heavier. Hidden motives will get restless. Some people will suddenly feel exposed without knowing why. Others will feel strangely safe, like they can finally breathe. That is because your presence will start to function like a spiritual test. Those who love truth will be drawn. Those who love illusion will feel disturbed. You won't need to perform. You won't need to shout. Just being authentically aligned with heaven will be enough. Anointed One. This is also where the supernatural transfer becomes real. When heaven trusts you with that kind of presence, it also trusts you with access. Rooms you were once excluded from will open. Conversations you were never invited into will suddenly include you. Doors marked too high, too far, not for you will begin to unlock. Not so you can brag, but so you can carry that clean frequency into places that influence money systems, decisions, and generations. Some of you are stepping into corporate spaces, boardrooms, creative industries, or leadership roles you don't even feel qualified for on paper. But heaven did not send you as a decoration. Heaven sent you as a signal. Your very being says this territory will no longer operate in darkness. That is why you cannot afford to shrink or pretend you don't see what you see. There will be moments when God quietly tells you, do not agree with that deal. Do not enter that contract. Do not sit at that table. You may not always have the language to explain it to others, but your spirit will know. Obey that knowing. That is how you protect the blessing coming toward you. I have watched God cancel what I thought were great opportunities, only to reveal later that there were hidden traps, invisible strings, and spiritual debts attached. At the time, it felt like loss. Later, I realized it was protection. Heaven refused to place kingdom wealth into environments that would contaminate it. Chosen One. This upgrade over your life means you will not only sense what is wrong, you will also be positioned to steward what is right. You will feel a pull toward clean agreements, honest partnerships, aligned opportunities. You may find that your circle becomes smaller but purer. Fewer voices, more clarity, less noise, more anointing. That is not a downgrade. That is heaven consolidating your environment so that when the financial transfer hits, it lands in safe soil. You are becoming quite literally too expensive for dirty atmospheres, not just in the sense of self-worth, but in the sense of assignment. The call on your life, the destiny attached to your name, the people tied to your obedience, it is all too valuable to be negotiated away in rooms that refuse to honor God. And yes, this will make some people uncomfortable. There will be those who say, you've changed, that you're too spiritual now, too serious, too intense. But the truth is, you are simply finally matching the weight of what God placed on you. You are no longer willing to water down your spirit so other people's demons can feel at home. Anointed. One, hear this clearly, you are not called to adapt to every room. You are called to transform some and leave others. The upgrade tonight is giving you the discernment to know which is which. Every time you choose alignment over approval, you are signaling to heaven, I am ready to carry more. More clarity, more responsibility, more authority, and yes, more provision. Because God will always channel resources through the ones He can trust, not to sell out truth for comfort. Chosen One. This is why you could never fully blend in, even when you tried. This is why certain environments started to feel unbearable, even though everyone else seemed fine. Your spirit was already living at a higher frequency than the room. Tonight, heaven is simply confirming it. You are becoming a living signal, a walking announcement that God is shifting things, cleaning things, exposing things, and rebuilding things. And in the next part, we are going to step into an even more personal dimension of this upgrade, how your transformation doesn't just change rooms, it breaks patterns, heals bloodlines, and rewrites what your family thought was possible. Chosen. One, let's walk into that territory. Few are willing to touch your bloodline, your patterns, your history. Anointed One. Heaven is not just upgrading you for you. Heaven is upgrading you for those who came before you and those who will come after you. You are not just a person in time. You are a turning point in a lineage. Some of the battles you faced have never made sense if you only look at your own life. The warfare has been too heavy, the resistance too constant, the cycles too repetitive. Every time you tried to rise, something seemed to pull you back. Every time you got close to breakthrough, something sabotaged it. At times you thought, maybe I'm just unlucky. Maybe this is just how life is. But in the spirit, there was another explanation. You were standing at the breaking point of generational chains. You were the one heaven chose to say, this curse ends here. Chosen one. I remember looking at my own life and realizing that certain cycles kept repeating in my family. Financial struggles, sudden collapses, relationships sabotaged right at the moment of promise, opportunities that looked sure and then mysteriously fell apart. It took me a while to notice it wasn't just me. It was a pattern. It moved from one generation to another, like a shadow nobody wanted to name. One day in prayer, I felt God whisper something that shook me. You are not cursed. You are appointed. Appointed to confront what everyone else learned to survive. Appointed to ask the questions no one wanted to ask. Appointed to receive a level of healing and breakthrough that would make it impossible for the old cycle to continue. That is, you, anointed one. You are not just trying to do better than your parents. You are carrying a divine assignment to rewrite the spiritual story of your family line. Tonight, heaven is not only flipping a switch inside you as an individual. Heaven is rerouting an entire stream. Where there was lack, God is writing abundance. Where there was silence, God is birthing voice. Where there was shame, God is restoring dignity. Where there was fear around money, around success, around visibility, God is planting boldness, wisdom, and holy confidence. Some of you come from lines where money was always connected to stress arguments, fear, or control. Whenever finances were mentioned, the atmosphere got tense. Debts lingered like ghosts. Dreams were postponed until things get better, but better never seemed to come. Chosen one. Tonight that narrative is being challenged. Heaven is whispering a new story over you. I can trust you with more. I can trust you with overflow without losing your heart. I can place wealth in your hands that will not break you, corrupt you, or turn you into what hurt you. This is why God has taken you through such deep inner work, such intense seasons of stripping and surrender. He has been teaching you that your identity is not tied to what you own, who approves of you, or what you can show off. He has been purifying your motives so that when the divine financial transfer reaches you, you will not worship the blessing, you will worship the one who gave it. Anointed. One, you are becoming the first in your line to handle resources with revelation, the first to talk about money without shame, the first to steward increase without stepping into pride, the first to build without needing to dominate, to give, without needing to be seen, to prosper without becoming cold. Do you realize how rare that is? Heaven does. That is why the process has been so intense. The greater the weight of what you will carry, the deeper the work inside you has to go. There were moments when God let people walk away so you wouldn't try to buy their loyalty later. Moments when God blocked opportunities so you wouldn't sell your birthright for short-term validation. Moments when God kept you in a small hidden place so your character could grow roots while nobody was watching. You thought you were being punished. You were being prepared. Chosen one. There is a day coming, and for many of you that day begins tonight, when your name will be connected to things that never existed in your bloodline before. Healthy businesses, paid-off homes, creative projects funded without compromise, ministries or missions supported without begging, families living without the constant terror of not having enough. When that day arrives, remember this: you are not just enjoying what you earned. You are walking in what was transferred from heaven because you agreed to be purified, transferred from battles you didn't run from, transferred from tears that turned into strategy. Some will say, you're just lucky, but you and heaven will know better. You're not lucky, you're aligned. And this next part is important. As God increases you, He is also increasing your responsibility. You will feel a pull to break certain conversations, certain jokes, certain family habits around money and identity. You will no longer be able to agree with "we're just broke," "we always struggle," "nothing ever works for us." Those phrases will start to feel poisonous in your mouth. That is not you being arrogant. That is you refusing to prophesy bondage over your future. Anointed one. The upgrade on your life means your words carry weight. When you bless, it lands. When you renounce, it breaks. When you declare, it shifts. That is why heaven is calling you to speak differently, think differently, decide differently. Not from fear, but from revelation. In the next part, we are going to step even deeper into this: how God uses your new identity to expose false control, shut down manipulation, and teach you how to walk as someone whose very existence is a verdict against every lie that tried to define you. Chosen one. Now we have to talk about something that might make a few people uncomfortable: access. Who gets to sit at your table? Who gets to stand close to your fire? Who is allowed to walk in and out of your life like it costs them nothing? Anointed one. Heaven is not just upgrading your finances, your calling, your spiritual authority. Heaven is upgrading your boundaries. Because without holy boundaries, blessings become burdens and transfers become traps. For so long you were taught to be available to everyone, to explain yourself over and over, to keep giving chances long after the grace of God for that relationship had lifted. You mistook people pleasing for love and self-betrayal for humility. You invited people into rooms of your soul they had no intention of respecting. But something in you has shifted. You've started to feel a holy discomfort when certain voices speak into your life. You've noticed how drained you feel after certain conversations. You've watched how some people only show up when they need something, never when heaven is pouring into you. That is not random awareness. That is the Holy Spirit training your discernment. Chosen one. I remember a season when God began to highlight this for me. Every time I over-explained myself to someone who had already decided to misunderstand me, I felt exhausted in my spirit. Every time I poured encouragement into someone who only wanted attention, not transformation, I felt a quiet grief afterward. One day in prayer, I felt these words rise up inside. You are spending spiritual gold on those who only want your shine, not your truth. That line cut deep, but it set me free, because I realized heaven was calling me to steward my presence the way I was learning to steward my finances, with wisdom, with clarity, with boundaries. Anointed one. You are entering a season where your presence is part of the divine transfer. Your time, your words, your energy, your prayers, these are not cheap. They are sacred resources. Your life is not a public hallway anyone can walk through. It is a temple. And heaven is tightening security at the gates. That means some things are going to change. You will find yourself saying no more often and not feeling guilty afterward. You will feel led to step back from conversations that go in circles, from relationships that don't grow, from environments that consistently dishonor your spirit. You'll notice an inner resistance to chaos, drama, and emotional manipulation. That resistance is not hardness, it is healing. It is the proof that your inner world has been upgraded, and now your outer world must reflect that. This is part of your supernatural promotion. Heaven is promoting you into circles where your value is recognized, not exploited. Into connections where reciprocity is normal, not rare. Into spaces where your spiritual gifts are welcomed, not tolerated. But to step into those new spaces, you must stop discounting yourself in the old ones. Chosen one. Many of the people who once had easy access to you are going to feel this shift. Some will respect it, even if they don't fully understand. Others will feel offended, even if you never said a negative word. Why? Because your boundaries confront their entitlement. Your growth exposes their unwillingness to grow. Your clarity makes their confusion uncomfortable. They will say, "You've changed," and heaven will whisper, "Finally." Do not argue with those who only remember the version of you that tolerated disrespect. Do not debate with those who miss the you that was easy to manipulate. Your job is not to convince them you are still kind. Your job is to remain aligned with what God is doing in you. Anointed one, hear me clearly. Being selective with your energy is not unloving. It is prophetic. You are prophesying to the atmosphere around you, saying, "I agree with heaven's opinion of me." Heaven calls you worthy. Heaven calls you chosen. Heaven calls you set apart. So your boundaries must start reflecting what heaven has already declared. Think about it like this. If a king or queen suddenly started inviting anyone and everyone into the royal vault, the issue wouldn't just be stolen gold. The issue would be dishonor. It would send a message that the crown does not value what has been entrusted to them. In the same way, when you keep letting people mishandle your heart, your time, your assignment, it sends a message in the spirit. I don't fully believe I'm royal yet. But tonight, that belief is changing. Heaven is announcing over you. You are not a convenience. You are a covenant. There will be invitations. You decline that shock, even you. There will be conversations you walk away from mid-sentence, not to be rude, but because your spirit knows staying will cost you too much peace. There will be doors you close, gently releases you make quietly. Not every exit has to be dramatic. Sometimes the most powerful move is simply not going back. Chosen one, as you honor this new standard, watch what happens. You'll feel lighter in your mind, clearer in your decisions, more sensitive to God's voice. Ideas will flow easier, strategies will come quicker, opportunities that match your calling will begin to find you. Why? Because you've stopped letting the wrong people drain what heaven is trying to pour. This is all part of the supernatural transfer. God is not just giving you more, He is teaching you how not to leak. In the next part, we are going to step into another dimension of this upgrade, how your healed, set apart, spiritually expensive self becomes living proof, undeniable evidence that every curse, every prediction, every limitation spoken over you has been overruled by heaven. Chosen one. This is where everything begins to look different on the outside because of what God has already shifted on the inside. You are not just surviving upgrade, you are becoming the visible, undeniable evidence that heaven intervened. You are the proof that prayers work, that surrender is not foolish, that obedience is not wasted. Anointed one, there were words spoken over you, curses, casual comments, labels thrown out in frustration, even jokes that carried poison. You'll never make it. You're always going to struggle. You're not built for more. Some of those phrases lodged so deep in your subconscious that you started budgeting your future around them, planning small, expecting little, living braced for disappointment. But heaven has issued a different verdict. God has quietly been overturning every human prediction about you. When they said never, heaven whispered watch. When they said too late, heaven replied right on time. When they said not you, heaven answered especially you. Chosen one. There is a reason your story refused to end in the pit. There is a reason bankruptcy did not have the final word. There is a reason the breakup did not steal your ability to love, the betrayal did not steal your ability to trust God, and the delay did not break your destiny. Heaven has been writing a testimony so detailed, so specific, that no one will be able to call it coincidence. You are moving into a season where your stability will speak louder than your suffering ever did. Your peace will preach louder than your pain. The way God begins to rearrange your finances, open doors, clear debts, connect you to provision and people and places you could never have engineered, all of that will stand as public evidence that there is a higher court, a higher script, a higher author over your life. Anointed one, I have seen this happen. I have watched God take years of humiliation and quietly turn them into influence. I have watched closed doors swing open without striving. I have walked into rooms I was never qualified for on paper, and all I could feel in my spirit was this is not my resume. This is redemption. That same redemptive current is now moving toward you. There are people who will scroll past your life soon and feel that twist in their spirit. Not because you are flaunting anything, but because the fruit of your obedience will expose the emptiness of their predictions. Your healed mind, your ordered life, your upgraded environment, your growing resources, all of it will testify what they said about me was not the last word. Chosen. One, heaven is not just lifting you. Heaven is using you as a living sentence, a walking verdict, a holy contradiction to every lie ever spoken over your name. And in the next part, we're going to step even deeper into this, how your very presence becomes a spiritual test, a litmus paper that reveals who is truly for you, who is only near your favor, and how heaven uses that separation to protect the transfer that is coming. Chosen one. As we come to this holy closing, I need you to hear this in your spirit. You are not waiting for something to begin. It has already started. Tonight is your Kairos moment, your divinely appointed time. Heaven has moved the pieces. The warfare was the proof. The shaking was the signal. The transfer is already in motion. Anointed one, you will not leave this video the same way you came. Something has been unlocked in you, a fire, a clarity, a knowing. You are stepping into a supernatural upgrade in your mind, your spirit, and yes, even in your resources and assignments. What was withheld is being released. What was delayed is being accelerated. What was scattered is being gathered into your hands. I bless you now to walk as the one heaven has chosen, not in fear, but in quiet authority. May your discernment sharpen, your steps be ordered, and your atmosphere testify that God is with you. May every room you enter recognize the anointing on your life, and may every counterfeit connection fall away from this night forward. Chosen one, stay faithful, stay aligned, guard your oil, move with gratitude for what is already on the way. This is not hype, this is a holy shift. If this word has confirmed what your spirit already knew, let your agreement be known. Comment, share, and stay connected to this flow of revelation as a prophetic act of alignment. Now go in authority, anointed one. Tonight you become everything heaven always knew you were.